thank you for your introduction, Vanamali Pandit Prabhu. And thank you, all the devotees who are here to receive me. I guess I learned my lesson from the last time I came to Boston, when everybody was at the front door waiting to receive me. And I was thinking that maybe something similar might take place again. You were waiting to receive me at the front door, and I came in through the back door. And it was just the way I'm accustomed to arriving at a temple. The greetings from my side, at least, are hard to swallow. So I just like to slip in. So I think that was the last visit, wasn't it? Might have been. I wanted to make a little addition also to the point that you raised about my history here in the Boston Temple. Yes, I was the temple president from 1979 to 1983. But before that, I was the maintenance man in the temple. I was the treasurer of the temple. I was the head cook in the temple. I was the temple commander in the Boston Temple. No, I was temple commander before I was the head cook, but I was the Sankirtan leader in the Boston Temple. I was in charge of the Harinam party in the Boston Temple. And became temple president. Then I was, did I say treasurer? Yeah, treasurer. And I think I had practically every position, every position that existed in those days for some period of time. After the temple presidency, I was the regional secretary for some time and began traveling in other states of New England. In Rhode Island, especially, we had a center in Providence, Rhode Island, right next to Brown University. We had a building in Westwood when I was the temple president of Boston and Westwood, which was, I forget how many acres of land we had there. I've seen the whole history since 1972, when I first started coming to the temple. So I've seen a lot of transitional changes that have taken place over the years. But one thing that I haven't seen is a temple president for 8 years. I think Vanamali Pandit, is it 8 or 9 now? 10. Really? Yes. I lost it. 10 now. Wow. Deserve a medal. Did anybody give you a medal yet? Should think of the 10-year anniversary medal. Being the temple president for 10 years. Not easy being a temple president. I can vouch for it. When I was here in 1979 as the president, some people may have memories of those days, but I used to call the position, and please forgive me, but I used to call the position of the temple president as the temple doormat. At least that's how I perceived it. It was the place where everybody came to wipe their feet on you when something was going wrong. It was always the temple president. Oh, we have another temple president here. Krishna. Saro Krishna, what year were you the temple president? Years were you temple president? 4 years.
And it was 2008. No, 2008 to 2012.
2008 to 2012.
What year? 2007. Okay.
5 years. 5 years. Just see, you beat me. Beat me. I was only 4. I came in. Oh, actually, I was the Bhakti director too. I forgot about that. Yeah, I came in 19. Oh, yeah, I came in 1977. 6? It was 76 and 77. I became the Bhakti director here in Boston. Then I went to New York for 2 years, and then lived in 55th Street Temple from 1978 to 1979. Anyways, we have a long history. There were many others who came before me, but I was the my memory's fading. Can't remember. It was, before me was Trey Prabhu, Trey Das. He came here for the 60th celebration, didn't he? I heard his talks, yes. And although he didn't speak as much as I hoped he would speak.
No, Maharaj, every day he gave a Bhagavatam class.
Bhagavatam class. Oh, really? But he didn't speak much about his memories of the Boston Temple.
We went to the place. We went to see the place.
You went to see what now? 40 North Beacon Street.
Yes, we were there.
Did he tell you what the building was before it was a temple?
He showed us. We went inside also. There are a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah, he showed us where exactly the temple.
It's what did they call? A funeral home. It was a funeral home. He showed you where they used to lift the coffins up in the prasadam room. I mean, it wasn't a prasadam room. They had 3 little, what do you call those things, off to the side of the room where the coffins used to be lifted from the basement, and where it was a funeral home before that. But after we moved out in 1974, when we moved to this building, it became a halfway house. And we used to go there for pilgrimage because Prabhupada was there in 1971 when Radha Gopi Vallabha were installed in 1971. Pran Pratishtha took place in North Beacon Street, so it's definitely an auspicious building. And before that it was Glenville Avenue, which was right around the corner from North Beacon Street, where Satsvarup Maharaj was the temple president. But it's got a history here in Boston. I think it was the third temple Prabhupada opened. First it was New York, then there was San Francisco, no, 4th temple. The second was San Francisco, the 3rd temple was Montreal, and the 4th was Boston. 4th temple that was opened, Prabhupada opened here in America. And I feel very fortunate that I was given facility to serve here at the Lotus Feet of Sri Sri Radha Gopi Vallabha for so many years, because I continued as in capacity as the governing body commissioner from 1987 until 2024, at which time I was no longer the governing body commissioner. And but I saw many transformations take place, but it looks like I have to confess, Vanamali Pandit, the temple room doesn't look as fresh as it did when you first renovated it. Somehow the carbon dioxide from Commonwealth Avenue seems to enter into the windows and places its molecules onto the walls. And that's one of the histories of the Boston Temple. That, the carbon dioxide that comes into the window, and also the, maybe you tried to make it look nice and cleaned it, but I can tell it's not like it was when I came here last time. A little. Maybe it's the lights, I don't know. Huh? You painted it? Really? Oh, you made it darker. Huh?
That is a shade, man. Shade.
Different shade, a darker shade.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. I guess it's a lighter shade of pale. No, a darker shade of pale. You know, it was much brighter color last time I was here, so maybe, okay, I'm sorry, you painted it. Wow. When did you paint it?
Last week.
I think it's time for me to go. Did I already? Did I wear out my welcome? Did I wear out my welcome?
Not yet.
All right. Anyways. Have you taken care of the neighbors? Call the police for Uncle Artie? That doesn't happen anymore.
No, not that often.
Okay.
We don't use Mridanga anymore.
Oh, we don't use the Mridanga anymore. Okay, we didn't use the Mridanga either. We stopped a long time ago, but still had the neighbors calling. And police would come. Anyways, we're going to have some Kirtan tonight. I've been asked to lead some Kirtan. And we've been speaking. And last week we spoke about, not Kirtan, we spoke about chanting. And for the benefit of the devotees who are taking their vows for first initiation last week in Glastonbury, Connecticut. And we were speaking about a very important topic in relationship to that, but maybe I'll speak about that tomorrow, we'll see. I'll speak about it tomorrow. But it was a point that I've heard a lot of feedback. We're not going to start this again, are we? Last week I was talking about the microphone in Connecticut. As soon as I started talking about the microphone in Connecticut, all of a sudden we hear this loud screech and the microphone stopped. So now I'm talking about feedback. And the first word, as soon as I say feedback, then it was feedback, right? I wasn't talking about that kind of feedback. I was talking about the feedback that I was getting from the talk that I gave. That the vote.
We're trying to increase the volume. Is it possible that you can keep the microphone close?
Close.
Yeah, a little
Closer to
so
your
that people can hear you.
Close.
Yeah.
That's better.
That's better.
Okay, I'm not.
Trying to increase the volume, that's why there was a feedback.
Okay, could I have a little water, please? So, emphasis was basically on the importance of desire to chant and the benefits that come from wanting to chant as opposed to having to chant, especially we're speaking, right? Speaking in relationship to japa, not kirtan. Of course, it could also be applied to kirtan, but we were specifically speaking in relationship to japa. But maybe I'll just read a little something that I was just looking for, just as we were driving up, about the holy name. This is a quote from a book called the Sattvata Tantra. And the Sattvata Tantra actually has conclusions which are quite similar to the conclusions established in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is a conversation between Narada Muni and Lord Shiva. And it covers a lot of important points, specifically about the Lord's appearance in different yugas, and the purpose for his appearance in each of those yugas. It talks about his various types of incarnations, and it also talks, when discussing about the Kali Yuga, then the next chapter goes on to speak about the importance of chanting, congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And then it speaks about the offenses to chanting, and several other very relevant topics. And I was surprised when I saw that it had been translated by my godbrother Banu Maharaj. And I had seen its reference before, but I didn't know a translation existed. And there's a very nice description about the holy name, and specifically how the holy name is the perfect everything. And I would say, whatever we may think of with respect to divinity, and with respect to religion, with respect to austerities, with respect to prayer, with respect to any activity that is aimed at heightening our consciousness from the mundane consciousness to the transcendental state of consciousness. The holy name surpasses everything else. And and even at the first point that it is, or maybe in the first verse, it is explained also that the holy name of the Lord is the supreme deity. Of course, this may be something that how can the holy name be the supreme deity when the deity is not different from the Lord? And but in fact, we've been reading. I haven't been reading lately, but I want to go back to it. Been reading in Brihad Bhagavatamrita about Gopakumara's question about the deity. That he had asked Narada Muni. Narada Muni had given a very elaborate description to Gopakumar about how the Lord and the deity of the Lord are all non-different. That just as the Lord is Satchidananda, the deity of the Lord is also Satchidananda, and how the Lord assumes various forms and various not only forms but mentalities which fully reciprocate with the mood of worship that the devotees are offering to him in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha planets. So much so that the Lord assumes, although he is known as having a four-armed form and holding the conch shell, disc, glove, and lotus flower, and he manifests in these various four-armed forms, bluish complexion, and various other descriptions of his forms in Vaikuntha planets. We understand that the Lord also appears in many other forms, also in the Vaikuntha planets, and those forms descend as avatars here in the material world. But Narada Muni was explaining how every living being has a particular mood of worship, and the Lord reciprocates with whatever mood of worship the devotee assumes. And by worshiping the Lord, even here in this world, on those various forms, then by becoming steady in the performance of that worship and by meditating on the deity and becoming purified by such worship, then they can attain that particular abode where the Lord's eternal form is manifest in the Vaikuntha planets. So he was asking a question that he was also explaining how everyone has a relationship with the Lord according to the devotee's meditation, perfected meditation and worship. And that relationship is existing throughout the Vaikuntha planets, and he didn't really go into detail at this particular point about Goloka Vrindavan, because he was speaking about Vaikuntha. And but then Gopakumar, he was a little bit, he asked the question to Narada Muni that why is it that if you say that every form of the Lord is Satchidananda, and including the deity form, and any devotee who worships the Lord can have an intimate personal relationship with the Lord according to his method of worship, then why is it in the scriptures there seems to be some apparent statements about deity worship as being less than the Lord himself? If there should be no contradiction, it should be by those who worship the deity and those who worship and have a relationship with the Lord, they're the same absolute supreme form of the Lord, because the deity is non-different than the Lord. And so Gopakumar was trying to understand why is it that that these statements are made about those who worship the deity as considered to be of a lesser. Because there are certain statements in the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam that says that those who worship the deity and who are sectarian in their mentality, then their worship is not as pure as those who have served the Lord in the conception that this deity is not different than the Lord. And he also explains about offenses, not only sectarian mentality. So it seems Narada Muni was trying to understand this contradiction. Gopakumar was trying to understand this contradiction. And Narada Muni responded by saying that actually those who worship the deity of the Lord and who understand in their worship that the deity is non-different from Krishna, there is nothing faulty in their worship. Their worship is complete, and they achieve the same perfection as those who worship the Lord. And he said even one may worship a blade of grass as the Lord, or even worship a concocted form of the Lord, He even uses that term. If he worships in a concocted form of the Lord, but if he sees that that form is non-different from the Lord and worships in that consciousness, imagine if you are conscious that this is non-different from the Lord, then you're very, very attentive to the personal relationship you have with that deity, even if it's a blade of grass. And specifically, he says that if one sees that in the blade of grass is the super soul, and one waters the blade of grass and offers obeisances to the blade of grass, and every day comes forward, then his worship is perfect. So the point is seeing the worshipable object is not different from the Lord, as having a perfected relationship with the Lord that will be attained by such worship. But then he explains that the difficulty is that those who worship the deity of the Lord and they do not see that the deity is not different from the Lord, and they also do not respect Vaishnavas, and they behave in a way which is contrary to the behavior of a Vaishnava, thinking that only the Lord is in the deity, but he's not in the heart of other living beings, and therefore disrespects not only Vaishnavas, but disrespects other living entities. And he even gives the example of just as one chants the holy name of the Lord, if one chants the holy name of the Lord and sees the holy name of the Lord is not different from the Lord, then by such consciousness, he will achieve the perfection of chanting. But as we know, there are statements, what is that verse? Namaparada yuktanam namanye viharantyagam avishyanti prayuktani tanye varta kritani cha. The chanting of Hare Krishna is recommended for those who are committing offenses, because as long as one goes on chanting Hare Krishna, gradually he can become free from offenses. So the point that he makes is that he will get his desired result, but only after a long time. It will take a long time. Same thing in the worship of the deity. If he's not conscious of the deity being non-different from the Lord, and he commits offenses to Vaishnavas, or if he commits offenses to other living beings. In fact, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Lord Chaitanya says that anyone who chants my name and does not blaspheme any living entity, I will bestow upon him Krishna Prema, pure love of God. Doesn't offend any living entity. So, of course, it's a long topic to speak about. But I was speaking about that point because I was thinking, Satvata Tantra, that in the first verse, it says that the supreme deity, the holy name of the Lord is the supreme deity. So the holy name of the Lord is the supreme deity because it is explained also that if one commits offenses to the deity or to the form of the Lord, then by such a commission of offenses to the deity, the only way he can become free from his offenses to the deity is by the mercy of the holy name of the Lord. So the holy name is considered to be even more merciful than the Lord in that respect. So therefore, in the I'm going to read just a few verses. I mean, I could go on each one of these topics, but then it would become a whole talk and we would not have Kirtan, which is the purpose for my presence here this evening. And I said I would speak here tomorrow. But I wanted to find this quote from the Satvata Tantra. And by chanting the holy names, it brings the Supreme Lord under their control. And then this is Yato Namaiva Paramam Tirtam Kshetram Cha Punyadam Namayva Paramam Daivam, Namayva Paramam Tapa. This is because the holy name is the supreme sacred place. The holy name is the supreme deity. The holy name is the supreme austerity. The holy name is the supreme gift. And we could expand on each one of these things. And, in many respects, but there's a long list of them. The holy name is the desire of the devotees. The holy name is their final liberation. Final liberation. So many different conceptions of what liberation is. But I was just listening to a class yesterday. Prabhupada was talking specifically about this point, how devotional service is superior to liberation, because he was specifically stating the point that we oftentimes hear, that liberation, he quoted the verse, Aruya Krishna Param Padam Tata Patantyuto Nadrita Yuzmadangraya, where it's explained in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam that one who performs austerities and penances to achieve the highest position, he falls down from his position of imagined superiority because he's failed to take shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. And Prabhupada was quoting that verse, saying that one may achieve liberation from this world, but it is temporary, that he has to fall from that position of liberation. And the only way to become liberated permanently, what is that verse? Iha yasya harir dasye kamana manasagira Nikalavapyavastasu jivan mukta sauchite. That anyone who is completely engaged in devotional service of the Lord with his body, his mind, and his words is already a liberated soul. Even before he gives up the body, he's already considered to be liberated, being fully engaged in devotional service of the Lord. And Prabhupada specifically says, because devotional service is liberated activity. And that was what he was speaking about in the Bhagavatam class I heard the other day, maybe 2 days ago, day before yesterday. And so the holy name is their final liberation. The holy name is the way they who are filled with yearnings may attain their wishes. Yes, Krishna will fulfill Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shudho Nitya Mukta Vidadho Nama Nama No. That the holy name bestows all spiritual benedictions, because it is Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, holy name is, what did I just say? Oh, the holy name is the way they who are filled with yearnings may attain their wishes. The holy name is the supreme devotional service. The holy name is the supreme destination. The holy name is the supreme mantra. The holy name is the supreme prayer. The holy name is the wealth of they who have no material desires. What is that verse? Help me, Gauranga. Queen Kunti's prayers. Akinchana, what is that verse? Huh? Twama Kinchana Gosharam. Yes. Twama Kinchana. Queen Kunti's prayers. That he is the property of the impoverished. And what is that other verse? Oh, I can't think of it. My memory is not so good. The holy name is the supreme prayer. The holy name is the wealth of they who have no material desires. The holy name gives sense gratification and liberation. Anybody wish to try to explain to me how the holy name gives sense gratification? I mean, I can answer, but I want to hear if anybody else will be able to Because it seems such a
Yeah.
contradictory.
Yes,
Huh?
it is.
It brings,
Huh?
I was thinking in the terms of it brings peace of mind and happiness. I mean, that the mind is, but I know, that was how I was thinking.
No. What does Rupa Goswami say in his prayer about the holy name? He wishes to have millions of ears, millions of tongues. Why?
To enjoy the holy name.
When the holy name enters into the courtyard of the heart, and the senses become inert, the mind becomes stunned, and the senses become inert. So he speaks about the holy name. Fully satisfies all the senses, right? Because the holy name is non-different from Krishna. And because it's non-different from Krishna, not only the ears and the tongue, but also the holy name has an aroma, and the holy name has one can actually, I just read a quote not long ago where Bhakshila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was explaining how the holy name and the deity are not different. To touch the deity also is touching the holy name of the Lord. And so that is, the holy name gives sense gratification. And liberation, how is it liberation? Gives liberation. What is that verse? I know the verse. It's on the tip of my tongue. Huh? Mamchayo Vyabhicharina? No, that's not the verse I was thinking of.
Nam Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Madhukrishanam. The last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Nam Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam.
Oh, I was thinking of Kalir Dosha Nidhe Rajan Asti Heko Mahadguna Kirtanan Eva Krishnasya Mukta Sangam Param Bhajet. Mukta Sangam Param Bhajet. Age of Kali is compared to be like an ocean of faults, but it has one good quality. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, Kirtanam Eva Krishnasya Mukta Sangam Param Bhajet. That gets supreme liberation. The holy name is the wealth of they who have, the holy name is the supreme happiness. The holy name is the catalyst that brings renunciation. The holy name purifies the heart. Cetotarpana Majana Bhava Mahadevagini Rapana. The holy name gives transcendental knowledge. The holy name gives liberation to those who yearn for liberation. The holy name fulfills all the desires of they who yearn for sense pleasures. The holy name is the final result attained by the devotees. Therefore, one should always remember the holy name. There's more, but there's a lot there. And there's a lot that could be talked about, but let's chant a little bit. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more later. Krishna Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachari Satarine Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kritamindusayascha Patitam Mahavini Vaishnavino Ananta Kota Vaishnavindaki